there, so it's set up there. We're live.
Oh, we're doing it.
We're doing it. Okay. Do you like that right there?
I want to scoot over. So.
Okay, perfect.
I want to scoot over so we're cute and together.
Okay, I'll back us up a little bit. Okay. Yeah? Okay. You like it?
I think it's good.
Okay. From national parks to theme parks, a travel experience. I'm Cherie.
And I'm Cheyenne.
Let's go to the park. Okay. Today's park, welcome to, I'm going to back up actually. Welcome to episode 2 of our YouTube Live podcast, blog, all the things. Today's park is Cumberland Falls State Resort Park.
Yes.
Okay. This week, it is my turn to quiz her, finally. Ha 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 ha. They're pretty easy, though.
I hope so.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. We're going to start with true or false. Okay, well, this one might be a little tricky. Cumberland.
Okay.
Cumberland Falls State Park was established on August 21st, 1931.
I know it was in August. And I feel like it was 1931. But I feel like it was on the 1st. Not the 31st. So false.
I actually said the 21st.
Oh,
but it's true. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's true. So this park was established in 1931.
That's the same year that my great-grandmother was born.
Wow. It's close to my grandmother when she was born in
Yeah.
1934. So anyways, next.
Wrong. One wrong.
Oh, that's okay. That one's tricky though. You know, if you just don't know it, I feel like.
Yeah, you just don't know.
That's just not a lot of something that you would have in the bank.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Cumberland Falls is Kentucky's tallest waterfall.
False.
Correct. Do you know which one is the tallest? Think. Because I feel like you could maybe come up with this.
Is it Yahoo Falls?
It is Yahoo Falls. See, I know you could do it. So Yahoo Falls is actually in Big South Fork National Park, and that is the tallest waterfall in Kentucky. Have you been there?
I have been there.
I have been there as well.
I have been there. I used to live nearby.
Right.
So it's Big South Fork National Reserve and Recreation Center.
Oh.
I think.
Have you been to Yahoo Falls?
I've been to Yahoo Falls
Okay.
inside of Big South Fork,
Mhm.
but it's not
Yep.
a big national park.
I
It's
didn't
a
know that.
national park preserve something.
Okay.
One of those smaller designations, even though it's just as important.
I've also been to Yahoo Falls and really enjoyed it. So that's the tallest waterfall in Kentucky. Okay, next. Yep, 1-1.
One right, one wrong.
I think you'll get this one. Cumberland Falls is known as the Niagara of the South.
True.
That is true. That is true. I thought you'd get that one. Okay, multiple choice.
Okay.
How high is Cumberland Falls on average? You said this earlier, so I was like, man, that's one of my questions.
Let's
Okay.
see if I remember.
A, 100 feet. B, 68 feet. C, 75 feet.
68 feet.
It is 60 feet. When you said that earlier, I was like, man. Okay, next. You're doing good. Cumberland Falls is the blank largest waterfall east of the Rocky Mountains. A, second largest waterfall. B, third largest waterfall. Or C, sixth largest waterfall east of the Rocky Mountains.
I think it's the second because that was our fun fact
Good
on our
job.
Instagram.
Good job. Yep.
Okay.
Hey, you're doing a great job.
I'm doing
You're
great.
killing it. Okay. How many visitors? Now this one I'm proud of myself.
Okay.
And it shocked me. How many visitors does Cumberland Falls receive each year? A, between 500,000 and 750,000. B, between 75,000 and 100,000. Or C, between 800,000 and 1 million visitors per year.
I'm going to go with A.
Good guess. But no, it's C. Between 800,000 and 1 million visitors a year. Can you believe that?
That is crazy. I was going to say B because it was in the middle.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I thought, no, I'm going to go with A because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I was wrong.
Okay.
It's okay.
800,000 and 1 million visitors per year.
That's more than some national parks get
That's a lot.
in a year.
Which I can see that, for the falls. I can.
Yeah. I mean, the falls are a big deal.
Right. The second largest waterfall east of the Rocky Mountains is kind of a big deal.
And the only place in the Western Hemisphere that you can see the moonbow. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, makes sense.
I guess so.
Okay. Well, good job. You passed the quiz.
I passed the quiz.
Good job. Good job.
All right. So a little bit of park information. So it is in Corbin, Kentucky. So Cumberland Falls, it was dedicated as a state park back in 1931. It has an open season, and that just means the campground, the park store, the gift shop. That's from April to October. And they have different events that they host on site, whether that's down by the falls or at some of the campgrounds or the lodge. And they have everything from Backpacking 101 to a Kentucky Craft Fair festival. I think that would be really fun to go to.
Yeah,
I've not been to a craft festival in a long time.
Yeah.
You can also do overnight canoeing.
Okay.
So you can come right up close to the falls.
That's pretty cool. That's a little out of my wheelhouse, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty cool. There are bears in the area. So when you are hiking, bring bear spray. Don't be the person that didn't bring bear spray because you thought you wouldn't see a bear. Just bring the bear spray. And then you can't swim near the falls. You used to be able to, but the current of the river is so fast that it's not safe. So they quit allowing that. Okay. And you cannot canoe or kayak over the falls because of the rockiness under the falls.
Interesting.
Which is not something that I would want to do, but some people are like that.
Yeah.
And then the state park itself is surrounded by the Daniel Boone National Forest. And the Daniel Boone National Forest is pretty big. And there has been a lot of alleged Bigfoot sightings at Daniel Boone National Forest. Okay. If you watch...
Blake would love that.
Yes. If you watch the Bigfoot Hunters on TV, they frequently are in Kentucky. And it's frequently in or around the Daniel Boone National Forest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just exciting. Yeah. Blake would love that.
I've never seen a Bigfoot.
I have not either.
But my grandmother has been interviewed by the Bigfoot Association for seeing a Bigfoot.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe that was at Big Ridge State Park. So we'll cover that one eventually. We can maybe have her come and tell her Bigfoot story.
Oh, that would be awesome. How cool.
Yeah.
So can we still find the article and things?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. We'll have to share that when we get to that park. Okay. So just a little bit of park info. These are our park numbers. There are 51 rooms at the historic DuPont Lodge within the park. There are 25 cabins and cottages within the park, 2 campgrounds, 48 campsites, 17 miles of hiking trails, and 1 restaurant.
Yeah. So when you go to the website, the Kentucky State Park website system as a whole is pretty great. And so the first thing on there is a list of the top 5 things to do when you're at the park. And of course, the first thing on there is to see the falls. So Cumberland Falls, the Little Niagara or Niagara of the South, it's the second largest waterfall east of the Rockies. So that's the big thing that you can see. And I am 98% sure that if you're in a wheelchair or a stroller, you can get down to the first overlook of the falls. The second overlook, you have to go downstairs to get to. But that first overlook, I'm pretty sure you can get to if you are in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Okay, another one of the top 5 things to do at the park that was listed on the website is to tour the Pinnacle Knob. This is a 1937 fire tower. So to get to this fire tower, it is a little over a mile out and back. This overlooks the Cumberland River in the distance. And this is a little fun fact about this fire tower. It is one of only a handful in the country with a residence at the top of it. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I had not heard of that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I didn't
So
know that.
that's pretty cool.
So the other thing we mentioned was hiking. So there's 17 miles of hiking trails, and there's long trails and there's some short trails. So some of the longer trails, the Moonbow Trail is almost 11 miles. So that's a full day of hiking, and it connects you to a bunch of different trails within the Daniel Boone National Forest. So you could make a long trail even longer if you wanted to, or accidentally by going the wrong way on the trail. So pay attention
Hopefully
to
not.
pay attention to the trail signs. And then something to note is the state park is in 2 different counties of Kentucky, and when you're on the McCreary side, it is a dedicated Kentucky State Nature Preserve, so you can't actually take your dog or any other animal that you want to bring hiking. You can't bring those with you.
That's good to know.
On that side of the trail. And so when you start on that trail, there would be a sign that says no dogs on this trail, and that's why. There's also the Cumberland River Trail, which is 5 miles, and it follows along the river back up to where the falls parking lot is. And then there's the Anvil Branch Trail, which is 2.5 miles, but that one is known for all of the wildflowers in the spring.
Oh, fun. So now would be a good time to go, maybe, or here soon.
Here soon.
Yeah. Okay, so some of these shorter trails. The first one listed here is the Civilian Conservation Corps Memorial Trail. That is going to be 1 mile long. The Cumberland Falls Trail, that is 0.5 mile long. Eagle Falls Trail is 1.5 miles long. And then there's a handful of other small trails between sites on property, like between the lodge and the campground and the pool and the falls and things like that, that just connects those places together.
Their pool has recently been updated, refurbished. I don't think it's open right now, so make sure you look before you get your hopes up. They also have a playground and tennis courts and a dance hall and an archery.
That's nice though, because a lot of the state parks are closing their pools.
Yeah.
So here in Tennessee. So
yeah. So the next thing listed on there was bird watching. That is something that I have never done. I like to listen to birds. Maybe one day I will be the person that sits there with the binoculars and the bird identification book. I think that'll be fun. And I wrote down some of the bird names that you can see because they made me giggle. So you've got the Carolina chickadee, the white-breasted nuthatch, the tufted titmouse, the Carolina wren, the chipping sparrow, the dark-eyed junco, the house finch, an American goldfinch, which I first read as goldfish. It is not a goldfish, it's a goldfinch. And then 2 different types of woodpeckers. Those I would be able to pick out. I know what a woodpecker looks like.
I have become the bird watcher, actually. I love bird watching now. Take lots of pictures. I cannot identify many at this point. I will get there, but that is me now.
So do you use the app that identifies things for you?
I have not. Is it the same app that you can do like the leaves and the flowers?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I have used that app, but I didn't know you could do birds on that app.
Yep, you can do, I think it's
called...
Seek? The one that I use is called iNature or iNatural. Because there was a snake in my yard and I didn't know what kind of snake it was. So I took a picture of it, posted it on there, and then experts will come in and identify it for you.
Oh, okay. I might be thinking of something else because Blake had an app on his phone that would do flowers and things. So I'll have to look and see if it does birds as well, or download that app. That's really cool. You will find me in my backyard watching the birds. Okay, another fun thing that you can do while at Cumberland Falls State Park is fishing. So if you like to fish, this is a place for you. You do have to have your Kentucky fishing, bringing out my accent, fishing license. So make sure you have that if you decide to go fishing.
They do have a gift shop, and it has fun T-shirts like I Saw the Moonbow, and then it has all kinds of random good gift shop things.
It is
like
a good gift shop.
Candy, and there was alcohol scented candles, like moonshine scents, because we're in the South.
Right.
So it was a pretty good gift shop of a bunch of random stuff.
It was.
And then they have the snack shop, which is kind of across from the gift shop. And I remember when Tyler and I went, one of our first times, we took Evie with us, and she was not even a month old yet. And I remember we went in there to eat ice cream, and she threw the biggest fit ever, and I cried because she didn't want to eat. And it was great. But that was one of her first little hikes, was we walked down to see the falls.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have both been to this park several times in our lives. We have both stayed here together as well. We'll get to that, though. Another thing that you can do, if this is something that your kiddos like to do, is you can gem mine for fossils. That is open seasonally, so make sure you check to make sure it's open when you decide to go. But I know that's something that a lot of kids like to do, so that's something that you can do in this park as well.
And then one of the other things that I think would be fun is doing the horseback riding through the forest. You passed the stables as you're driving to the campground that we stayed at this last time. So I think that would be pretty cool. I've gone horseback riding before, but I am not great at. It's not one of the things that I sign up for regularly, but I do enjoy getting on a horse and letting it take me where the person in front of me tells it to go. Like, you're not going to see me out here on a horse, me telling it where to go. But if it's following the horse in front of it, like, sign me up. Yeah. Sign me up for that.
I've never been on a horse before.
Well.
So that's on my list.
That's on the list.
That would be a cool place to do it.
It would be. It would be.
Or Kate's Cove. That's also on the list. Yeah. So what we did while we were on our Cumberland Falls adventure, who went? So Cheyenne and her husband Tyler went with their little girl Evie, and then Cheyenne's parents Michelle and Scott went, and then me and my husband Blake went, and our two dogs, Boomer and Paisley. And then, did you take your dogs on this trip? Surely
they were there.
Yeah, I would say so.
I don't see why they wouldn't have been.
So her two dogs as well came on this trip.
Yeah, 6 adults, 4 dogs, and one child.
Woohoo! 3 campers, though.
3 campers. 3 campers.
Let's not forget that.
Yes. So this was we went late summer. Well, midsummer, I guess. Late July. We went in 2021 on our trip together, but we have been multiple times separately because it's pretty close to where we are.
Yeah.
It's about an hour from here.
Yeah. So this would, I feel like, be a good day trip if you're in the vicinity. Like, you could make it a day trip to go see the falls at least. So we drove our campers from home, which, like she said, is just a little over an hour from where we live, 70 miles. So it is, for us, can be a little day trip to just see the falls, which is why we've been there many times. I think I've been there like 4 times total.
I think I've been probably 3 times. Probably 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but something that we've recently discovered about ourselves is if it's something nearby, we don't really look into it and research it as much as we do when we go on when we go on trips that are further away. So the last time when we went together, we hiked to Dog Slaughter Falls, and so we walked to both of the overlooks during the day. We went to the visitor center, we went to the shops, and then we saw the moonbow that night, which we'll talk more about. But we hiked to Dog Slaughter Falls, and it was how long? About 4 miles.
Yeah.
So it was about 4 miles to get to the falls, and then afterwards we went to the Sheltawi Trace. Sorry.
You should still be.
There we
able to
go.
keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her phone rang, and so we're using her computer, so it
Yes.
freaked out. I don't do Macs; they confuse me. So I didn't know what happened.
I am a Mac girl. Yes.
So after we went to Dog Slaughter Falls, we went to the Sheltawi Trace Adventure Resort, and that's where we had lunch that day,
which was really much needed. Something else that we did, or where we stayed when we went, we actually camped in the Ridgeline Campground. So like I'd said before, there are 2 campgrounds within the park, Ridgeline and Clifty, and they are a little bit different. So Ridgeline Campground is where you are going to want to go if you have a camper or an RV. Clifty is tent camping only. At Ridgeline, they do have mainly 30 amp hookups. They do have 2 50 amp sites, which I thought was kind of odd. That's just an odd number. Well, even literally, but you know. They do offer spots for RV, tent, and pop-up sites within Ridgeline. Those campsites do have water hookups. And then at Clifty, those are, like I said, are all tent camping sites. And sites 40 through 47 there offer water and electric. So 2 different campgrounds. We stayed at Ridgeline, and that is where you would have to stay if you have a camper or RV.
Yeah. So the biggest reason that we decided to go together and camp was to see the moonbow. And it's exactly what you think it is. So it looks like a rainbow. It's formed the same way as a rainbow, but it's the reflection of the moon, or not the reflection, but it's the water refracting. Nope, it's not that either. I'll get there. Wait for
you will get there.
It's the light refracting in the mist of the waterfall, and it's the light from the moon. So these happen around a full moon. And so when you're looking at it with the naked eye, it looks like a white rainbow. But when you take a picture of it, and there's certain settings on your phone, there was a really nice gentleman that was like, here, use these settings. And then he used lots of camera words that I did not understand. You're able to get the light to show up in the pictures. So you can see the actual rainbow colors, Roy G. Biv, in your picture, but you see a white rainbow with a naked eye. And so that happens, like I said, on either end of a full moon. So the next one is actually coming up this week into this weekend. So if you're hearing this today, or you're hearing it in the next couple days, you could run up and go see it.
You could.
If you wanted to.
I think it's well worth the trip.
Yeah.
It's something cool that you can't just see anywhere.
Right. And it's, I mean, the Western Hemisphere is the Western Hemisphere. So there's other places, there's other places to go see it, but it's going to cost you a pretty penny to get to, where is the other ones? What, in Africa?
I think so.
Which I want to go to Africa.
I would love to go to Africa, but right now I can go to Cumberland Falls.
Exactly.
So that's where I will be going right now.
Yes.
So something else that we did while we were there that I really enjoyed was, like she had said earlier, we hiked to Dog Slaughter Falls, which is a terrible name in my opinion as a dog lover. You know, I'm just like, okay. Dogs are welcome though. This is a dog friendly hike, which you wouldn't think. Just good thing they can't read. Yeah. I've got myself tickled.
That was a good one.
This is a 4-mile trail, like she said, out and back to a beautiful waterfall. The waterfall is only 15 feet tall, but it's actually wider, more of a wide waterfall rather than tall. So it's still a really pretty waterfall. This is listed as a moderate hike, which I would agree with. We were tired after that. And although this hike is not necessarily in Cumberland Falls State Park, but it is in Daniel Boone National Forest. So it's something that you can easily get to if you're staying at the park. So,
And I remember, so on that hike, it was myself and just Blake and Sheree that went. And so I remember we were on the hike on our way in, and there was this lady. She was sitting on a rock, and her family was around her. And I'm a medical provider. So I kind of stopped and was like, hey, how are you doing? Is everything okay? And she was like, yeah, I got diabetes and I don't have my medicine, but I'm going to make it. And we were like, okay,
We were
you
the
can
cheerleading
do
team.
it.
Yes.
I
I think she did, in fact, make it.
did she
feel
make it out though? Did
I don't
she
know.
made
We
it
saw her
in.
again.
We did see her again, so I think she made it to the waterfall. But it makes me nervous. If you're going on a 4-mile hike and you have diabetes, pack a snack
True.
and your medicine.
Even if you don't, pack a snack.
I have asthma. Pack my inhaler. We were not as prepared as we should have been. We did
No.
not take a snack. We did not. I think we each took a bottle of water.
Yeah.
And it was warm enough in the end of July. We should have had more water.
Yeah.
Than that. So on our way out, we passed my dad. My dad was just driving around, and he was like, hey, I just bought a drink. You want it? And he passed us like multiple cans of Mountain Dew out the window. He's like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, we chugged those down real quick.
Yes. Mountain Dew is not a great substitute for water, but it was better than nothing at that point.
Yeah, I was not complaining.
No. And then after that was when we went to the there's a campground, and it's the Sheltowee Trace.
Yeah.
Adventure Resort. The campground there is the Falls Creek Cabins and Campground. And that's where we ended up having lunch.
Yeah.
Do you know what we had?
I don't. Maybe a burger,
Probably.
fries, something like that.
Yeah.
Hot dogs or something like that. But it was good.
Yeah. And they had a really good gift shop.
They did.
There too.
Yeah, they did. And it was just right outside of Cumberland Falls State Park. Not far at all. Yeah.
So it's 5 miles outside of Cumberland Falls. And that's actually, Tyler and I stayed an extra night in the area. So my dad hooked up the camper, and then I drove it for the first time. I drove it 5 miles down the road.
I'm so proud of you.
And pulled it into a pull-through site. So I didn't have to unhook it. I didn't have to back it in. That was it. That was all I did. So we stayed there, and it was a nice campground. They have, like I said, the camping sites. They have tent sites. They have cabins, and they have covered wagons.
Oh, cool.
You could stay in a covered wagon. And since it's part of the Sheltowee Trace Adventure Resort, they actually have whitewater rafting, and there's canoe trips that you can go on. They have zip lining and other outdoor adventures.
Nice.
So I think the next time we go, I would rather camp there for all of that stuff. And then Laurel Lake is 25 minutes away. Lake Cumberland is 45 minutes away. And then Big South Fork National River and Recreation Area is also 45 minutes away. So you could see a bunch of different things and just camp in one spot, which I think would be fun for us to do, something nearby that's not as expensive as jumping on a plane and going across the country somewhere.
That is nice. I didn't realize Big South Fork was so close. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I guess I didn't realize that it could be a little trip if you were staying there. Unfortunately, we would not recommend the campground at Cumberland Falls State Park. And we hate saying that because we are big fans of the state parks and the national parks, obviously. So we hate to not recommend one, but we do want to be honest with you so you aren't surprised when you get there. All three of us, so we have a camper, she has a camper with her husband, and then her parents have a camper. So all three of our campers are around the same size and technically on the smaller side. Ours is 25 feet.
Ours is 24.
And then your mom and dad's is a little less.
I think theirs is 20 or 22 feet.
Okay. So, like at the smaller range of a camper. And we all three struggled to get our campers into the site.
Yeah.
Our site, we just had to totally reconfigure, and we did not pull in or park or set up the way it was intended to because it just wouldn't work. And then a lot of times you would see people coming in and your neighbors would have to move just so you could get into your site. The road going through the campground was tight. It was just a one lane, which I guess they usually are, but
It wasn't a one lane.
well, no, I guess it wasn't a one lane.
It was,
but it was size wise, it was a one lane.
Yes. So it was, the road isn't very long. So if you were coming up the hill, you could see if there was a camper coming towards you, and you would have had to stop and wait for that camper to pass.
Right.
For sure.
So that's another downfall. The sites were unlevel, which isn't the end of the world. You are going to run into unlevel sites,
Yeah.
But between them being unlevel, the sites were super close and they were very difficult to get into. It just isn't a campground that we would probably go back to. So.
And I love horses, but if you stay in a campground that's near horses, you're going to get horse flies. And so there was, there were lots of flies.
Yeah, I do remember that.
There were lots of flies. And so it's not a campground that I will visit again, but I would like to stay at the lodge.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun to go to the lodge, because it's right next to the pool and the playground. And it's closer to all of those smaller trails that you can go in and around. So I think if we went back, I would either stay at the lodge or stay at a campground right outside.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I would definitely go back to the park itself.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
We've only been to the main falls, the Cumberland Falls. But the Eagle Falls, that trail takes you down to the Eagles Falls, and that's supposed to be a really pretty waterfall too. So there's still a lot more hiking and all the activities to do. I would want to go back.
We do have a lot left to explore, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can see and do. So
yeah, I just wouldn't stay at the campgrounds.
Yeah, agreed. So
I think we did it.
We did.
We have covered Cumberland Falls State Resort Park.
We have.
Located in Corbin, Kentucky. So this is going to follow the same parameters as Yellowstone did. So Cherie will write up a blog post, and that will post next Monday. Yeah. I will take this video, turn it into audio, and post it as a podcast this week. And then, of course, we are on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Please find us on Facebook so you can join our private Facebook group, so you can share all of your travel plans, all of your travel pictures. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
So we covered it all.
Until next time,
we'll see you at the park.
Let's go to the park.